Hello, everybody, and welcome to the opposition preview for the big game on Friday night. Leeds United versus Leicester City at Elland Road. First versus second in the Championship. It's the big one, isn't it, George?
It's massive, Ant, isn't it? It's massive, and thank you initially, of course, first off, for having me back on. It's been a while, mate, but good to see you again. And excited to talk about this game, and this is, and I've been streamed on my channel as well. So anybody welcome on there as well. But yeah, great to have you on. Great to have me on, and should I say, thank you for that. And yeah, looking forward to the game. It's massive, massive.
As always, absolute pleasure. And we were literally
Thank you,
saying
mate.
just before we came live, it's a shame that this is a Championship preview because we've done this over the last couple of years and it's been Premier League previews. But touch wood, we'll be doing this again this time next year, and this will be a Premier League preview. But
hopefully, Ant, yeah.
Yeah, before we do get any further, guys, George's link is in the title. Please click on the link, go and subscribe to his channel. He's giving up his time to come on the channel tonight, so let's go and show him some love. Let's go and subscribe to him. As I say, to anyone who comes on the channel and contributes their time, the least we can do to thank them is go over and check their channels out. So make sure to do that. But before we get into, obviously, Friday night's game, talk to me about Leeds so far this season, because as an outside perspective, I've sort of thought at home you've been incredible and the home form's fantastic. Away from home has probably been why there is a little bit of a gap in between the two teams, but home form has been sensational.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, and that is why there is a gap between the two sides. Our away form, mate, has been inconsistent to say the least, but at home, it was just incredible. No losses yet. Hopefully, from my point of view, that'll continue on Friday. But yeah, look, it's been a bit disappointing first off. Daniel Farke come in, fantastic pedigree at this level. And you thought, right, we're going to go straight up here. Didn't start as we wanted to. And that again, I think, is why there's a bit of a gap between us and you. Is the start? You made an incredible start. We were faltering, but since we had those two defeats at Christmas away from home at West Brom and Preston on Boxing Day, the Preston one. But since then, it's been win. 8 in a row. We're really, as you say, cooking now. We're really looking good, and I think we're going to take something to, it's going to take something special, I believe, to stop Leeds United from going up. You might beat us on Friday, Ant, but I do believe that even if you do, we'll still join you in the Premier League. I do believe that, although it is an incredible race, isn't it, at the top there? But I'm happy at the moment with how we're playing. This is how I expected us to play in the Championship, as I'm sure you would, Leicester City as well. And it's how you expect your team with the quality that we've got in between the two clubs at the moment. This is where you expect the two teams to be. And you'd expect us to be closer to you, but that's, like I said, given the start we had and the start you had as well, to be fair, that's why there's such a gap. But there isn't much in it. There isn't much in it, is there, between the quality of the two sides?
No, and something that I've said about Leeds, that on your day you have got it in you to absolutely blow anyone away. But at the same time, you've also got it in you to lose to anyone, particularly away from home. And I think what I've been impressed with you guys, though, is when you've lost games, it hasn't sort of lingered around for a long time. It's then very quickly responded. And I think we've been quite similar with that. We've lost a game. The only time this season we've lost back-to-back games was when we lost to you guys earlier on in the season at the King Power and then Middlesbrough. And ironically, we've just played Middlesbrough and lost to them.
I'm hoping for a repeat, Ant, I must admit.
The thing about that Middlesbrough game, there was a bit of an overreaction and a bit of a meltdown. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because I've reviewed it to death and people are going to get sick to death of it. But it's one of those games that we created absolute countless chances and just could not put the ball in the back of the net. And Middlesbrough had 2 chances, put the ball in the back of the net twice, and it's one of those things. But something that I did want to talk to you about, because I've talked about it a lot with Leicester fans, but I want to get a Leeds fans' perspective on this one, is the standard of the league. Like, I don't remember it being this poor like throughout the league from last time we were in the championship. Obviously, you've been in the championship a lot more recently than we have.
Yeah.
But there's certain games where you just feel like even though you're playing poorly, you're like, there's no jeopardy about the game. You know you're going to come through and get a result. And it's like, I know that probably sounds arrogant, but I don't know if as a Leeds fan you've found the same. It's like you've played poorly and you're still winning games 3 or 4-0 at times.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I honestly think I know we've been in it. I don't know when was the last time you were in the championship. I must have been quite a long time ago, really.
13, 14.
Right, so 10 years ago. Yeah, and we were there. What 1920 was the last one, and so yeah, the standard has really dropped from the last time we were in it 4 seasons ago. Really dropped, and I agree with you. Honestly, mate, I agree. It's like you're playing at half tilt. You're not even getting out of first gear, and you're beating teams 2, 3, 4-0. It's the standard is really poor.
And it's like I know we're probably looking at this in a different light now than we were before because we're like obviously newly relegated clubs, and we've got and we'll get into this in our combined 11 a little bit later, which should be good fun to do. But there's I know we've got a lot of Premier League quality sort of players between ourselves in our two squads, but I never remember the standard at the top being so different and such a big gap from the standard at the top to the rest of the league.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. You know, honestly, I think, and it's a sort of outlandish season this, and the 3 teams that have come up, to be fair, along with Ipswich, are setting an incredible pace. I mean, it's unheard of, really. It is. I mean, if you look at last season, I had a look at last season. Burnley at this stage, I think, were 5 points worse off than you are at the moment at the top of the league. And second place, I think, was Sheffield United, had 61 points. Now we're on 69 and we're second. You're 78, aren't you? So it's an incredible season. I think it's unheard of, and the gap is vast between the 3 or 4 at the top, even the 3 at the top, say, and the rest of the league. The rest of the league, honestly, I agree with you, and it's so poor. It's so poor, and that's again not like you said, Anne. It's not us being arrogant because we're at the top of it, because we have players that are better than this division. But yeah, the standard is just incredibly bad.
Yeah, and it's like I've enjoyed a lot about the championship this year, and I think it probably does help with that. And you're probably in the same boat, not seeing your team lose every week. Probably,
100%, mate. 100%. It makes a change, doesn't it, from getting tonked off Man United or whatever, Arsenal or whatever. It's good. It's better.
In our cases, it was like getting tonked off Fulham and Bournemouth. So
I mean, Leeds are the same. Any game, it does make a difference. And going into the game thinking we're going to win here, particularly at home, because you're the same. Your home form is very, very good.
To be
our form is good as well. So,
to be fair, a lot of people have talked about your home form going into this game, and rightly so.
Yeah,
what hasn't been mentioned is our away form, because we're the best away team in the league in terms of form.
You haven't lost. You've only lost one, is it, or maybe two? Have you lost 2? Yeah,
Middlesbrough and Cov in the derby. The M69 derby.
Oh, yeah.
But what doesn't get mentioned about that, and it like rightly so it won't in stats. We played with 10 men for 65 minutes, was it, or however long it was? And it's like, yeah, you lost the game and stuff, but the only game that we've lost, I believe, and I could be absolutely chatting rubbish here, I believe this is the only away game we've lost all season, was Middlesbrough, where it was like 11v11, and I know we lost to Cov, and deservedly so. But two losses away from home all season.
Yeah, so that's really good. It makes for a real cracking game on Friday, doesn't it? You know, obviously we're unbeaten at Elland Road. You guys are only 2 defeats all season away, and it's going to be a real. I think it'll be a bit of a tight match, but I think we went obviously to the King Power and we won. I thought that game we deserved it. I mean, there wasn't much in it, but I think we did just edge it.
It's one that I said, but you just probably deserve to win. But if we'd equalised at the end through that, I think it was it a Dewsbury Hall chance right at the
that's
end?
it. That header, yeah.
Like there wouldn't have been able to be too many complaints. But then,
No,
like as a Leicester fan, I look back on that game and I was like, we had that Batawu chance, we had obviously Dewsbury Hall at the end, but like the general balance of the play, you edged it. But it's not as if it was a complete one-sided
absolutely not. It was a real grind and on that evening, and I was delighted with winning that game, obviously. But yeah, look, Leicester is the hardest game we can have in the league. And let's be honest, mate, it shouldn't really be a championship game. Both teams mismanaged last season, shouldn't have really gone down. Particularly you guys, I think, incredible, really, how you fell to that. But
it's that line, and I think similar but slightly different to you guys is the quality we had shouldn't have gone down. The attitude deserved to go down.
Same as us. I think we had on paper quality players that probably could do it at the Premier League level, but yeah, the attitude just stank, and they deserved it. They deserved to go down. They weren't interested. So here we are now, trying to get back in the Premier League. But the players that stuck around, and it's the same for Leicester as well, and is fair play to them, and they want to play for the badges of the respective clubs, and hopefully, we can, like you said, both be up again playing in the Premier League and doing better in the Premier League. Because I believe that you might not, but I believe you guys, Leicester are up already. I mean,
my thing is, I reckon if Leeds were in our position, I would say yes. I think Leeds are already up. But when it's your own club, you always just worry about.
You are really, aren't you? But I understand it. But I mean, are you worried? And that if we were to beat you on Friday, we're 6 points behind. Would you be worried about letting go of first position? Because you've been there pretty much the whole season.
I wouldn't be worried about it, but it's like I wouldn't be any more worried about it than I am now.
Yeah.
Because I think 6 points is probably a bit of a false image in the fact that our goal difference makes it practically 7 points.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't not sort of look at Leeds and say, like, well, what sort of, like, from the start of the season you've had, how much you've turned it around, similar to Southampton, and like the quality has shone through. But I said it at the start of the season, and I stand by this now. I don't care how we get out of the championship this season, whether it's hook or crook.
Exactly.
Like, I just want to see us playing Premier League football next season. It's like, yes, if we can go up by record-breaking numbers and record-breaking points, fantastic, which at the moment we're on target to do. Yeah. But ultimately, whether you scrape through the playoffs in 6th place, like by goal difference on the last game of the season, or if you go up with 125 points, the reward is the same.
Exactly, it is. I mean, financially, the club will benefit whichever position they finish, but for the fans, we all end up in the same destination, so it doesn't matter how you get up as long as you get up. But you guys, I think Leicester will win it, and regardless of whether we beat you on Friday, I think you'll still win it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's one of those. I bet you if the Leeds was in this position, you wouldn't quite say, yeah, we're up yet. Because we've both seen it too many times, haven't we? Like, you're in fantastic positions and what is it? Leeds are falling apart again. You've got that. We've seen ourselves in the Champions League places for however long, and it just go wrong. It's like you can never feel too comfortable when it's your own club.
No, of course you can't. But when you're looking from the outside in, you think, I mean, look at Leicester. How you started was unbelievable, and I mean, I don't know how many games you won in a row, but it would have been a fair few. And
7 or 8.
Was it? Yeah. So I mean, that's what we're currently on, 8. So 8 games in a row we've won. It's an incredible how we've changed it around since Christmas. We're looking a little bit behind. Now we're well on course. And at the end of the day, I think even at this stage, and playoffs for me would be like, secure your player spot, which we probably already have. But, well, not technically, but we won't not drop out the top 6. But that's the first port of call. The second is, can you go on and get automatic? We're at the moment, obviously, we are in the automatic spots on goal difference. Like you said, Anne, our goal difference as well is a lot better than Ipswich or Southampton's. So at the moment, it's looking okay. If we can get a win Friday, 3 points. Hopefully, the other guys drop points on the Saturday, and we're and we're looking at a situation where we're in the top 2 and perhaps to stay for up until the end of the season. You look past the Leicester game for Leeds. The fixtures are quite kind.
I think I say for us it's a similar thing. We've got you guys, Southampton, and then there's a few difficult games thrown in there. But generally, I think our hardest game apart from that is Hull, and it's like, but I stand by it. The difference between the top 4 and everyone else, it's like the only games I really see as huge jeopardy games are those top 4 games.
Yeah,
everyone else, like we've got Hull. And I know they beat us earlier on in the season, but I fancy us against Hull. And then we've got Southampton coming to the King Power and West Brom coming to the King Power. And it's like we've given ourselves a good enough position where like you don't want to lose games, but you can afford to drop a few points here and there. And like everyone talks about how close you guys are getting, which I think at the moment it's 9 points.
9 points. Yeah.
I can't, and like however easy on paper the running is for you guys, I can't see you winning every single one of those games. I think there will be points that are dropped.
Definitely there will be. We won't win every single game, but looking up at like I said, at the ones past Leicester on Friday, I think we've got Huddersfield at home, Stoke at home, Wednesday away, and I think we've got Millwall at home as well. So the next sort of 4 after you guys on Friday, pretty winnable really, and we should be looking at winning that. And hopefully it's hopefully we continue the run in. I think it would be record breaking, a 9th win in a row. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully from my point of view, we get that. I don't know. There's a few comments coming in, Anton, here, and it's great to see people commenting in as well. So that's excellent. Bit of a debate going on, and it's great to see everybody in the chat there.
Yeah. Let's get into the live chat, as you said. It's very civil at the moment. I don't know if it's going to carry on that way when we get into a combined.
It might not do. Let's wait and see. But it's all good, isn't it? It's all fun, and are you making the trip down there, Anton, on Friday? Are you? Or?
No,
no.
I just my thing is, I really wanted to because of work, but I just could not get out of work quick enough.
No, this is the thing, isn't it? People. I mean, there'll be a strong contingent, won't there, of Leicester fans there on Friday? But yeah, it's difficult. And even as a Leeds, at Elland Road, it's difficult, to get a ticket for these sort of games. So, all the ticketing prices and things have changed, I think, in recent times. So it can be difficult to get get 2 games, but.
We're very similar to you. Like wherever we are, it will be sold. Like the away ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but it's frustrating because I was looking forward to this, and then Southampton's for us has been moved to a Friday night as well. And it's luckily that one's at home, so I can I'll be going to that. But you're in a similar boat with us on this, Wes, because we're both doing very well, and we're both the 2 of the biggest clubs in the Championship. Every time we're playing someone's half decent, and even half the time it's just absolute dross teams that you're playing, slap them on Sky. Sky.
Absolutely, yeah, that's it. I mean, Leeds fans have a bit of a song on that, Ant, but I cannot say it because it involves swearing. But yeah, it's we don't take too kindly to Sky Sports, really. They're always changing around our fixtures, and like I said, you're the same. But it just shows who wants, who the people want to watch, really, in that division. But like you said, 90% of this league is poor quality. Again, I don't want to sound arrogant on it, but I would say Leeds are better than 90% of this division, and the sort of 10% of this division would be.
And the rest. 95, 96. You're being generous there, saying 90.
Maybe I'm being generous, but I was going to say the only 10% might be yourselves, and Southampton might just slightly swing it. maybe not Southampton. Actually, I've seen them a few times, and I've not been very impressed. And we had a really disappointing result down there, but we've got them to play on the last game of the season, Ant, so that could be potentially be a real sort of one to sort out automatics, maybe.
My mate, who's a Leeds fan, said that this would be the most Leeds thing going. If you don't lose at home all season, you need to win at home on the last day of the season, and you don't. It's like game more like Leeds scenario.
It is. It really is, mate. Yeah, that's just it. Leeds do find a way how to mess it all up at the very last. But hopefully, this time it's fine. But it would be.
Yeah, we've all been there though, haven't we? But
of course we have.
Let's quickly get through the live comments. Guys, as I've said, please do go and subscribe to George's channel. Link is in the title, as you guys can see. I love having George on the channel. It's always a great chat. And as I say, hopefully this is a Premier League preview next season. Tom, how are you doing, mate? I hope you are well. Tomahawk, good evening. Scott, welcome into the chat. Stings the news regarding Stefano Sensi. Yeah, about him having an operation or a plate removed from his ankle. But I've seen that sort of a bit of an overreaction regarding that one, though, because like everyone's saying, bullet dodged and all of that. He wouldn't be having that operation if he came to Leicester. That would have been pushed off till the summer. He's having it now because he's not playing for Inter. Ronald, how are you doing? It'll likely be the best time to go to Elland Road this season at the moment of loads of injuries for Leeds. Have you guys got lots of injuries, mate?
No, we haven't. I don't know what that comment consists of. I think there's a couple. Yeah, I mean, there's a few to like maybe important players. Patrick Bamford don't look like he's going to make the game, and Pascal Struijk, who started the season at centre back but has been injured for quite some time. There's long-term ones with Stuart Dallas, but other than that, I don't think there's too many. But there are a couple of important players there. But I must say, Ethan Ampadu at centre back has been fantastic. Stepping in for Pascal Struijk.
I really like Ethan Ampadu. I'll be honest. Yeah. I did find it funny earlier on in this season, and I think it might have been you I was having this debate with. But it's like the way that if you rate Harry Winks, because obviously they were playing in the same position earlier on in the season. If you rate Harry Winks, you automatically think Ethan Ampadu's rubbish. And if you think it's like you can't. Apparently, you're not allowed to think both players are brilliant. It's like you rate
isn't it?
The other one's awful.
I mean, what's the debate about? They're both good players, aren't they? Harry Winks is an England international, isn't he? Or a youth international, isn't he?
He was an England international. But he's a bit far away from that squad.
He definitely is now. But he's he got in there. I know Ethan plays for Wales and is a full international all the time, but that's it's another country, isn't it? So it's great to see so many people on, and it really is.
It is. Guys, as I say, do please go and help George's channel out. He is giving up his own time to be here tonight. I'm thinking back what a hell of a journey Leeds fans have been on in the last 20 years or so. We haven't had it half bad either, have we, in the last 10?
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have had a real rise, haven't you, in the last sort of 10 or so. I was just looking, 6 or 7 years ago, playing in the Champions League, playing in the Conference League not too long ago, winning the Premier League, of course. I mean, it's been a fantastic ride for you lot. So,
Can't forget the FA Cup.
FA Cup as well, with Tielemans, that lovely goal, wasn't it? So you've had some real nice moments. I'm sure, like I said, you'll have another one to celebrate come May. So, yeah.
Hopefully so. Jeff saying, I'm not bothered if we drop to second as long as we go up. That's the main thing. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't care if we do, but I want to see us win the league. But
of course,
it's like, as I said from day one, it's about however you do it, getting out of this division this season.
Promotion. That's all it is.
9 in a row, beginning of the season. Leeds will go and get second. Southampton not looking great. Southampton, it's funny though how quickly narratives switch, because Southampton literally last week were this unbeatable force that no one's going to get near.
Isn't it? Exactly.
Now they've lost to Hull last night. I always said I love the Tigers. Big up. I might not be saying that next week.
Exactly. Be careful what you wish for. But I don't mind Hull. They're building a good team, aren't they?
They are, but it's like it's very funny how quick narratives change, and it's like Southampton were going to be the team that going to catch us. Now the narrative is Leeds are going to be the team that catch us. I think it's like you know as well as I do how quickly narratives change in football.
Yes.
I've said for the longest time, and I'm not going to lie just because we're doing a Leeds preview. I've said for the longest time, Southampton are the team that worry me the most.
Yeah,
but you can't overlook Leeds because obviously how fantastic your fantastic run. And the one thing I said about the Southampton run of form, as good as it was, there was so many draws in it that over that stretch of points, I actually think they only closed the gap by 1 point on us.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I don't know the statistics of it all, but they didn't win that many games out of those 25. That was including FA Cup and League Cup games, I think, as well. That 25-game run. So, look, every time I've seen Southampton, they're not impressed me that much, really.
I don't know. I think they've looked proper quality at times.
Really,
but then, it's like though we said to you earlier, but we've blown teams away 3 or 4-0, and I thought at times we haven't actually played that well. And I don't know if I'm just getting that from when I watch Southampton at times, but they're in a similar light to both of us that we've got so much individual quality over the rest of the league. But
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's not even fair at times. To be fair, you're looking at it thinking this isn't fair. You know, the amount of quality, obviously, that watching Leeds as Leeds that we have on the pitch, particularly going forward, is incredible. I don't know why that is, Richard. Hello, Richard. Richard is a long time commentator and subscriber on my channel. Good evening, Richard. To you, I don't know why that is. I don't know the ins and outs of StreamYard. To be fair, but
to be fair, I had this issue the other day when I was trying to stream on another Leicester channel. I think it's a StreamYard issue, but again, I'm not technically sound enough to sort these kind of things out. I have a co-host James that I do a lot of my other podcasts with.
Oh yes.
He's the brains of the operation.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, well, this is it. It'll go on afterwards, so you can comment, Richard, on it. It'll go, as a video you can watch after it being live. So yeah, lovely. But look, I mean, Southampton. Yeah, we like I said, we've got them to play at the end of the season. Whether that is a clincher for automatic promotion, let's wait and see. But I mean, fair play to all of. I look at us and Daniel Fark, and he's been there and done it. But then you look at the other three in there. Your lad Enzo, he's doing a great job. Russell Martin, who's pretty much inexperienced, and also Kieran McKenna. So those three guys are really doing a good job. Because I must admit, from my perspective, and looking at Leicester and Enzo coming in, I was like, it might not work. Although if it does work, it will work, and you'll go up. If it doesn't work, then it might go wrong. But it's obviously gone the right way.
It's one of those that I was at the point with Brendan Rodgers last year, but I was so fed up. I just wanted almost anything different. And I think Ants Leicester had that sort of blessing of the fan base, but the fact of we were so just absolutely sick to death of Brendan Rodgers. It was just any change is a positive change. And but I don't think anyone could have expected what he's come in and done and how fantastic it's been. But it's one that it was a risk, but it's not as if it's just a risk of some random bloke that you found. It's someone who's got I know it's his second management job, but it's his first sort of proper crack at management because he was sacked in Parma, I believe, after 12 games. So this is his first proper crack at it. But you look at his coaching background, he's coached at Man City and he was in charge of their youth setup for a while and their youth teams. He was part of a West Ham coaching setup for a while as well. So he's an established coach. But it's one thing being a very good coach. It's another thing being a good manager. But the way that we've made it sort of public that we want to go is building around youth again and developing young players. Because it as well as we do. When we go up to a Premier League, we financially cannot compete with the sort of the bigger sort of, well, I say bigger clubs, for more sort of financially backed clubs. So you've got to bridge that gap somehow. And I think that is part of why Enzo Maresca was brought in, because he's a coach that develops young players.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like it is. Looks like that's what he does, and looks like he's done a great job. To be fair, because like I said, I thought could go either one or two ways, and I was in sort of two minds of thinking, do I want Leeds to go? Obviously, we were in the same boat and looking for a manager. I was kind of in the same, and I was thinking, do I want Leeds to go down the sort of young manager route, or do I want them to go through experience? And I actually wanted us to go through a younger manager, but you can't argue with Daniel Farke, really. Like I said, he's been there and done that, and he's got the T-shirt. Hopefully, he'll have another T-shirt come the end of the season. But yeah, he's great, is Farke. I have questioned him a little bit as the season's gone on, but generally you can't argue with how he set up the team. And if you keep winning, why change it? And like you guys, our team is young as well. It's a youthful team who are enjoying the football and just having a good time. You can see it on the pitch. They're actually enjoying it. They know they're better than all of this division, and they're enjoying playing football. And I hear somebody asked me how many players we've got out on loan. I honestly couldn't count them. I think there's about 12 or 13, maybe even more, even including the young players. So there's a lot. But those guys didn't have the mentality to want to drop down a division. If they had, they might have enjoyed the football,
My thing is, we've had a lot, and I think a lot of your players went out on loan. We sold a lot of players. But I don't care. Like, the players that went and didn't want to stay, go. If you don't want to be here, go. Like,
exactly.
And we've got Dewsbury Hall, who's sort of the embodiment of what Leicester is about. Like, and those kind of players, like the homegrown lads that want to stay, want to fight for club, not just for homegrown lads, to be fair. That's not fair to say, because we've got a lot of players that have stuck about, but probably didn't need to and could have had bigger moves to, like, maybe not Premier League clubs, but top division clubs around Europe.
Definitely.
But, like, you just want, and I've said this for the longest time, win, lose or draw, I'm not too arsed as long as I see a team that's going to put 110% in. That was my real problem last season. We didn't get that. And it's like, you look at the individual quality we had across that pitch. James Maddison, England international. Harvey Barnes has been knocking on the door of, like, an England call-up before his injury this season. Yuri Tielemans, like, the list goes on, like, of players that are just absolutely ridiculous. The fact that squad went down showed sort of the mismanagement of it and the, like, awful attitude. But I just want to get into a quick comment.
Yeah, of course, mate.
Before we do, and then we'll get into our combined 11. But guys, if you are enjoying the stream, make sure to subscribe on my channel, on obviously George's channel. Help, as we always say, help each other out, help the guests out who do come on this channel. He's given up his time, so let's show some support. What does Ant think if they lose 2-0 at Leeds Friday night? I hope it doesn't happen, and it goes without saying. But if we do, you dust yourself off, you go again against QPR. It's like, it's one of those. As I said, for you guys, you're not going to win every game to the end of the season.
No.
Likewise for us, we're not going to win every game to the end of the season. But it's about, if you do lose a game or two games, it's then making sure it's just that, and then you respond and bounce back.
Yeah, exactly. It's making sure. I mean, like you said, Anne, earlier on, it's like we've only lost back-to-back games once this season, and I don't think you've done it at all, have you?
Yeah, Middlesbrough.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. We mentioned that, didn't we? So that's the only time as well. So yeah, that both teams have shown that they can bounce back quickly and not sort of rest and get upset by losing a game. It happens. Look, if we lose 2-0 on Friday night, Leicester are the best team in the league. This is going to happen. You've just got to dust yourself down and go off again. This home record isn't going to last forever. We're going to lose a game at home at some stage. It might be Friday, but I have a feeling we might get a result on Friday. But what do I know? You know what I mean?
It's one of those, like, you should feel rightly confident going to this.
100%. I'm really confident, to be fair.
But it's at the same time, like, I would feel like you'd be looking at me as an idiot if I wasn't here feeling confident heading into this.
Exactly. So exactly.
But let's get into the bit that I think people have been waiting for, the combined 11. These are always fun, and I know people don't always agree with them. And as I say, it is always a bit of a laugh. Don't take it too seriously, and let's keep it civil in the comments, please. But I love the fact I have to put out like a little.
Yeah. Just people do get irate though, don't they? You know what I mean? It's amazing, you know, but bad mouthing one of their team's players or not picking them or something, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Crazy.
So we play in a 4-3-3. Well, it shapes up as a 4-3-3 on paper. Is about the same as you guys?
We play 4-2-3-1, so we've got two holding midfielders with a cam in front and the two wide men and the lone striker. So it's he's always played that every single week basically.
Thing is, ours is a 4-3-3 on paper, but then Ricardo will be playing this right back role. So if I go like
see, Ricardo Pereira is for me one of the
midfield area.
So he can play kind of centrally because he's left back, is he?
He's right back, but he
right back.
But he plays as an inverted midfielder as well. So it's like, an inverted fullback, like as that extra man in midfield. So it's like, what have I done there? Where's that gone? There we go. That's much better. Disappeared then. But so like when we get into the game, you'll see what I mean when we're playing. That like on paper it's a 4-3-3, but like it's fluid and it changes shape throughout the game. But in goal, I'm going to say Mads Hermansen.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I don't think Meslier, although a lot of Leeds fans would say, oh, yeah, no, he's only good. He's got we haven't conceded a goal since Preston scored against us. I think that was 4 games ago, maybe even 5. It's not down to him. It's down to the men in front of him, particularly the centre-backs of Joe Rodon and Ethan Ampadu. They're just like walls. You know, they're literally walls. They just don't concede.
This is a thing that makes me laugh about clean sheet stats. Yeah. It's like that is down to the midfield and the centre backs as much as the goalkeeper. It's like, you know, what's his name? The lad at Rotherham, Victor Johansson.
Johansson, is it? Yeah.
Fantastic keeper. I bet you he hasn't kept a clean sheet all season.
Probably not. Probably very little. So, like you said, it's down to the people in front of you. I could play in goal probably for either one of these two teams and would still maybe get a clean sheet. So, you know, that's the way it is. But I'd have to agree with Hermansen. Yeah, I think he's a better keeper.
Okay, let's start at left back. This is the first player I'm gonna concede to you. Junior Firpo at left back.
You're going with Junior. See, Junior Firpo has split the fan base of Leeds completely since he came in. Very much a scapegoat for most of the Premier League time. Always injured. Nobody really liked him. I never had a problem with Firpo. I always thought he'd done pretty well. But this season, to be fair to him, he started to really play well and find his form. A lot of people have joked it's probably his level. I think it's a little bit harsh that. I think he's a good player. He's a good player.
He's one of those, and I put Vestergaard in that category as well. But
yeah,
I think the step down to the Championship has probably done him the world of good.
100%, definitely. It definitely has.
Because Vestergaard's one of, like, I don't know how much Leicester you've watched, but Vestergaard's been crucial to us this season. Where, like, last year, if he was in our team,
panic stations.
He didn't even get in in the match day squad. He was frozen out by the manager, and like everyone was like, he's just going to be here for another year, seeing out his contract, and then hopefully we'll never see him play for Leicester again. To being like the central part of our defence, it's like
it just shows you, mate. You know, like you said, the drop down. You know, it can do people good, and I honestly wish that more of our relegated team had come down to the Championship with us, because I think they'd have actually enjoyed the football. You can see with Junior, he's enjoying it. It might not be the level; it's not the level anybody really wants to play at, but he's enjoying his football. He's injury free by the look of it. He's getting a string of games together and he's enjoying it. And that's what we want to see. So, and he's a good player when he gets going. And that's what we're seeing. But Vestergaard, if you're going centre backs, now this is a tricky one, Ant, because you guys have got two real walls as well at the back. And so have we. So I don't know how I'm going to do this.
We'll ask for live chat as well. So guys, do get involved with this. But for me, one of them has to be Joe Rodon because I think he's been sensational this season.
Yeah, Rodon has to be in there.
Yeah, and he's one of those. I think if you go up, you have to be looking at signing. For me, I think you can make a case for Wout Faes or Yannick Vestergaard for either of them. But as I've said, I'm going to go for Vestergaard because I talked about the sort of the transformation that we've seen for him.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree.
It's like the fact you could make a case for Ethan Ampadu as a centre back as well. And it's
essentially, yeah.
I feel like that we're going to go through every position here, and it's like, yeah, you could have a genuine case for 2 or 3 players.
It's such a quality, like I said, the quality of the both squads. It is very difficult to find a decent, one that is going to resonate with both of us. But I think Vestergaard, yeah. But Rodon, for me, I agree with you. It has to be the first signing on if we get promoted. It has to be because it just has to be. And I think Vestergaard is quality. I was surprised a little bit, that he wasn't getting played, when he last season. But no doubt of his quality, really.
To be fair, at championship level, I think he's brilliant. I'm unsure if it's the drop to the championship that's done him good, or the change of system, or it could be a bit of both. I don't think it's necessarily all one or all the other. It could be it's somewhere in the middle. But again, we can't complain. For where we are at the moment, he's doing fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And Wout Faes as well beside him he's a decent player. Again, for this level, like I said, I mean, lads, if you've been used to playing better level football, like I said, they must be really enjoying themselves, to be fair. Flying at the top, and we're, flying at the moment. Just enjoy it, Yeah.
The thing is with Wout Faes, he got a very hard time last year, and his reputation was completely ruined by one game at Anfield. And then, as soon as that happened, everyone was like, awful. I would say maybe not Leicester fans, but sort of every other fan base was like, awful player, calamity waiting to happen, and all of that. And it's like, if you actually watched him, he was good for the majority of the season, but his reputation and his confidence took such a dip after that. And again, he's another player I think that this season will have done his confidence a world of good.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's it. It's all about confidence, isn't it? And like I said, I wish a lot more of our relegated team had come and played, in the championship with us, because I think they'd have benefited from the confidence that it would have given them winning games of football every week instead of losing it. But, money talks, doesn't it? And, that's the way it goes sometimes.
The thing is, it's like for me and you, say if we were playing for Leeds or Leicester respectively, we got relegated, we would stay because it's our club.
Yeah.
And but say if you were playing for a complete different club, a club that you didn't really have an affinity to, it's it's a different conversation, man, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah.
Then it's just a career and it's not a love, if that makes sense. You might have a love for playing football, but do you have that love for Leeds or Leicester?
Exactly, it is, and fair play to the guys that have stayed on both accounts for both clubs, because clearly that shows loyalty to the club, and that means that you do actually have some loyalty to the club you're playing for. So, and that's what we fans we want to see. So, yeah, I mean, I would say on right back and here, you've got to go with your man Pereira, haven't you? Really,
I really like Archie Gray. But
Archie Gray,
he's one of the best young players in this championship. But I think Ricardo Pereira is just the fact that this bloke is in the championship is an absolute joke.
Yeah, yeah. Again, he's the captain. He's your captain, isn't he, Ant Pereira?
Yeah.
So yeah, he obviously has, and this is what I like as well. Some of them obviously feel maybe not guilty, but maybe they feel like a thing that they have to do to get them back up. because they got them relegated. So some of them are maybe staying there because they feel obliged that they need to go and get them up and right the wrong of last season. So, I agree with Pereira. I really like Archie. Obviously, he's been brilliant to say 17. You watch it, you forget how young he is. He's that good in this division, but for me, it has to be Pereira. Archie's not really even a right back; he's a centre mid. So,
yeah.
But Fark likes him at right back, and he's done a good job there as well. To be fair,
yeah, you've got to be doing something right to be playing consistently at the age of 17 out of position. And
absolutely.
But this is what I was saying earlier. It's like this Winks Ampadu debate earlier on in the season.
Here we are,
yeah. You like Winks, you can't like Ampadu. Apparently, it's like I've seen it on, and I know Twitter's sort of always the extremes. It's like apparently if you rate Ricardo Pereira, you automatically think Archie Gray is useless, and like the other way around. And it's like not the reality of it.
No, they're all quality players at the end of the day for this division, and like I said, Archie is really good, and for the for the age he is, playing consistently, like you said, out of position as well most of the time. It's a testament to him how well he's doing. But for me, if you're going for centre mids, you're looking at centre mids. Even the conversation for the lads outside of that, Glenn Kamara, for example, for us, has been fantastic. It's been fantastic. And also Elland Road in the middle since the new year, he's been very, very good as well. But I think we've got to go with probably both of the two of them in there, and in Winks and potentially Ampadu alongside each other.
My thing is, my midfield two is I was going to put Dewsbury Hall here. Yeah. And tell guys in chat, let me know if you think this is fair or not. And then Winks as this other one. Yeah, because I think those two have been key for us. I know Winks has played more deep, but then I think for you guys, you've got Ampadu, who I think is just like absolute quality player for this level.
Absolute. He's a wall, yeah. He's just a wall, yeah.
And I was going to say Ampadu there, but again, you've got options that you can put there and like not sound out of place at all.
Definitely, but I mean, if we're going that way, we can't leave out Ethan, can we? Really, the other two lads that I mentioned, Glenn Kamara, has been fantastic, and so has Elland Road of late. But if we're going it with Dewsbury Hall and Winks in there, we can't leave out Ethan. We've got to put him in that sort of deep in that defensive mould. Obviously, he's been playing centre back, but I think him and Joe Rodon, they've got this. The good friends, I think, off the pitch as well, which really helps. And you can tell they've got this really good organisation skills between the two of them. So I'm delighted actually with them. And Pascal Struijk, who was playing well at the start of the season, mate, he's going to find it hard to get in the team now. He really is.
But that's what you want to see, though, isn't it? Because we had a similar thing earlier on in the season where Casey McAteer absolutely flying. Yeah, it's going to be hard for anyone to come back into the team. He got injured. Abdul Fattah's practically made himself undroppable now, and it's what you want to see: players competing for the shirt. It's like I was sick to death of it last year, like seeing players getting the shirt based on name value and not what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been impressed with Fatawu as well, and I was impressed with him in the reverse fixture as well. And I thought he was probably your best player on the night. Looked very dangerous and tricky for us to deal with. But again, he plays on the left, is it?
He plays on the right, and then Mabedini
on the right, on the left. See, if we're going up at the free here, I mean, it's just an embarrassment of quality between the two teams here. So it's going to be incredibly difficult to pick. I really like Mavadidi as well, even though I don't think in the reverse fixture he had a great game. And I do think Archie Gray did a really good job of him that night.
You know what really annoyed me that game? Archie Gray got a yellow, I think was in the first 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Mavadidi didn't run at him again until about the 85th minute. So if you've got a fullback on a yellow, particularly a young lad, at that time of his career, probably the biggest game of his career so far.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I might be saying that unfairly.
No, I
but
think you're probably not.
You get at him and you try and give him a really difficult game. Didn't
Yeah,
test
of
him.
course you did. He didn't. No, he sort of stood off him a little bit, didn't he? And like I said, he was quite ineffective in that game. You could have, because we've seen it a few times. Archie's been, run ragged by a few opponents, and he really could have got at him. He didn't for some reason. But Mavididi has to go on that right on that. Is he right side? You said.
Well, he's left side, but he can play on the right. So my thing is, I think Somerville has to get in this team because I think he is top draw.
Yeah.
But I also think Mavididi has. But it's like which wing you can put. Somerville can play on the right as well, can't he?
He can, yeah. He plays generally on the left, but he can play. Wingers are interchangeable, aren't they, with the positions? He can both play both sides. Chris Somerville is absolutely incredible at this level. Again, it's just not fair in a way to have this sort of quality in this level of football. Really, he's unbelievable. He's 15. I think 15 goals this season. More to come. He could easily end with over 20. I'm sure he will. But Mavididi as well. He's a great find, wasn't he? Really for you guys as well.
Brilliant. I'm not sure how many goals Mavididi has so far.
10. I think it's 10. 10. Yeah. You've got 3 guys on 10. I think Vardy, Mavididi, and
is it Dewsbury Hall?
Dewsbury Hall, yeah, that's it. And yeah,
and then Daka's not far behind either, is he? On it,
Daka's got 7, yeah, so he's not too far behind either. So
I think that it's very good though that we're not reliant on one man to get goals, because there was a period where it felt like if Vardy wasn't scoring, we weren't going to score, and it's like it was fantastic that we had a 20+ goal a season striker. I think that can never be a bad thing. But when it was if Vardy doesn't score, we are seriously struggling here. That is never a good thing.
Absolutely not. No, and Vardy, I didn't realise how many he had chipped in with. Actually, how many? 10 is a decent amount, isn't it? Because whenever I've seen you guys play, he doesn't seem to play. He's always coming off the bench.
I think it's a lot of his goals, and this is what I hope, and we'll get into this tomorrow when I do my predicted 11 show. But like for me, with Vardy, I much rather see him come off the bench now because I think he's still got the footballing brain, and like I never think he's sort of credited with gets as much credit as he deserves. He's got such a good footballing IQ and footballing brain, but his legs just aren't quite what they used to be. But he's still like the movements he makes in behind. He's an absolute handful for a defender to try and deal with. But it's just he won't run you ragged like he used to for 90 minutes.
Absolutely not. I mean, listen, and I seeing Jamie Vardy on the sheet, scares me. It does every single time. Even when he's, I don't know how old he is now, 34, 35. Is he 36? So he's still, like you said, he still has that brain. You don't lose that know-how of where the goal is. And at 37. But still, he knows where the goal is. And at 37, he's still a threat. 10 goals in the second division is good. He's a quality player. And you can't, again, I don't think you can leave him out of this team here we're doing now. Because he's better than...
You look at Rutter as well, but he's been brilliant for you. But he's played a bit deeper, hasn't he?
He's played in the 10, yeah. So I think Rutter's been fantastic, but yeah, he plays in the 10. He was playing at number 9, but then he brought Patrick Bamford back in off injury, and since then, Bamford's been playing at 9 and Rutter's at 10. Now Bamford's injured. We see Joel Perreault playing at number 9 and still Rutter at 10. So, but I mean, Joel Perreault maybe would get into this team if it was a generic kind of thing, but based on form, no, you cannot put him in this. I think you have to put Vardy in there, really. And
it's for me, it's like you can have a conversation between Daka and Vardy. I think Daka is one, we said about players, and he was one that wanted a move at the start of the season. He didn't get the move he wanted. I think he wanted, was it Bournemouth? I think it was all lined up for, and it just didn't happen for him. Like how many players, and I'm sure you've had examples of this, don't get the move they want, strop, like throw their toys out the pram and just like set sort of negative mindset for him. And he's done some really good interviews talking about it since he got his head down, has kept himself fit, analysed his game, and looked at areas that he can develop and improve. And it's like that is sort of the mindset to have, because having done that now, one of two things happens. He's put himself in the shopping window for a move next year if he does still want to leave Leicester, or two, he's got the potential of being the main man in terms of a striking position in the Premier League for Leicester if we go up. It's like that's what you want to see from players, like that attitude.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And yeah, I mean, we've got a brilliant example of this on our squad in Willie Gnonto. Willie Gnonto put in his transfer request, toys out the pram. He wanted to go, and all this. Everton were coming in for him. Didn't quite happen. The fans were not happy with him. He didn't start the season very well at all. But we're now seeing he's knuckled down and he's reaping the rewards. He's got 5 goals in 5 games now. He's really on form. And like you said, take us into the Premier League. You can really then start to become a good part of this squad. And we forget again, Daka's a little bit older than Willie, but these guys are young and they're sometimes not very well advised. But I'm so happy that Willie come back in and he's doing well, because really we all wanted to see him do well. We know that he's too good again for this league, and that's it. So yeah, it doesn't bode. It's not the best idea sometimes to just, hey, push for the move, because it might not happen, and then the fans aren't on your side; they're a bit against you. It's sometimes hard to come back from that.
My one thing that I did sort of think at the start of the season when it was going on with the Willie Gnonto stuff is like, I was saying, I hope for your guys' sake that he went, because you don't want sort of a negative attitude around the club.
Yep.
But it's like, since he hasn't got his move, and again, I'm never going to defend a player going on strike. I think you're sort of a disgrace for doing it. And it's like, how many, like, even as like not a Leeds fan, it's like, how many kids' dream are you living by playing in that shirt? It's like, have a little bit of respect for the club that has made you. And didn't you pick him up out of the Swiss league or somewhere like that?
That's right. Like, Zurich.
You just put the your two middle fingers up to all of those fans that have sung your name, all of like the club that have picked you up from nowhere. And it's like, I don't know, it made. I wasn't a fan of it, I'll be honest, but it's like, one thing I don't buy as well is being advised by bad people. It's like, at the end of the day, at 18 or 19 years of age, yes, you're still a young lad and like all of that, but he was fully aware of what he was doing. Like,
of course he was. Yeah, he's not a child. Yeah.
But after the fact, it's like, right, I've made a bit of a tit of myself here. Get my head down and make it right.
Yeah, which is what he did. Because Daniel Farke is not, Willie Gnonto in this league and what he did last season for us, a little bit of a bigger name, maybe, even though he's a young player. He wasn't afraid to put him out of the team. You're not playing, you've done this. Same with Sinisterra. I mean, Sinisterra went in the end, which was a real shame, not in the way that he was going about it. That was good. We don't want somebody like that in the team who's kicking the fuss up, legal action against the club. You don't want it. But as a player, I'd have loved to see Cini in this division, which he did start it in. It would have been incredible. And to have him in the squad now, I think we'd have been a little bit closer to you, maybe even on top of the division, because he would be that good in that league. But he didn't want it, and he didn't want it enough.
There's a few players, and like, the one that makes me laugh is James Maddison. I would have loved to have seen him back in the Championship.
Oh, yeah.
He would have tore it apart.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He put out some statement about sticking together and all of that. 3 days later, he was holding a Spurs shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I love James Maddison. I thought he was a cracking player, but some of the stuff that you heard at the end of the season about, let's stick together through the difficult times and good, and it's like, first opportunity he had, he was out.
Exactly. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. You give the fans a bit of hope and crush them again. But players like him, I mean, you would never, for 1 minute, envision him, particularly being an English player as well. You wouldn't envision him for any time being involved in the Championship team. Like you said before,
he's done his time in the Championship with Norwich.
Yeah, of course he has. Yeah, and like you said,
Barnes as well. He'd done his time in the Championship. He's He's a local lad. He really does love the club, but he's above the level of a championship. But you say, mate, you could almost put Dewsbury Hall into that category. But he came out with a really interesting interview at the start of the season saying he felt partly responsible of why Leicester is in the championship. He wants to get us out of it.
This is exactly what I mean with, like, so when we were talking about Pereira, maybe they do feel responsibility of taking the club down. They need, particularly as a local boy, to take his home team back up to the Premier League, and that'll be a real good moment for him when it happens. And this is the thing: have a bit. Yeah, you're playing at a lower level, but you're enjoying it. It'll be winning games of football, and most likely going to end it, with in your guys' case, in promotion. So you're going to have a good feeling. So why not stick around? It's all about money. I understand that, and the players have families and things. People they've got to look out for. But it can't be that much of a drop down in wages if you really want to do it. I don't know. I don't know what the infrastructure is like, but Dewsbury Hall's been fantastic.
He's one of those. I think he's a level above the championship. I'm not convinced he's
Yeah.
I don't know how far he can go in the Premier League though. And
It's
there's a
funny
few
one.
players I think that's like Joe Rodon as well. It's like a level above the championship. How far can he go in the Premier League though?
It's a lot of them in these shared 11 as well. Yeah, way too good for the championship, but like you said, are they good enough for the Premier League? Probably not on most occasions. A lot of these guys.
I think a lot of them are good enough for sort of that bottom half of the Premier League, sort of 15th downwards, and could do a job at that level. But it's like, how many of them could really go up the table? And it's like, you like Somerville, I think it's got the potential to, and I think will do one day. But it's like, that's all potential. It's like, and I think he will do that. But like, there's players like Harry Winks as well. He was cast away at Tottenham, and like, he was one that at one point he was breaking through as that next big thing, and it just sort of petered out, didn't it? Really, for him.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
it looks like looks like he's got that fire back in his belly, and I'm hoping now to see the Winks of a few years ago, where he got a man of the match performance in the Champions League at the Bernabeu. It's like, if we can get anywhere near that level of player again, I think you're on to a winner.
But this is what I mean. A year in the Championship for him might not be the worst thing. Getting the Championship, see, he didn't do so well at Sampdoria, did he, Winks? So get in the Championship, be part of a winning mentality and a winning experience, and then build on the confidence that's giving you, and build up your career again in the Premier League, because he'll be playing for you in the Premier League next season. Yeah, I'm pretty 100%. Sure of that. And
I don't think he would have signed for us if he knew that it was get us out of the Championship and then you're going to be moved on. I think he would have. And from what was reported, he had Premier League options.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure. But at the point now, Leicester, former Premier League winners now, aren't you? So it has a bit of pull as well, doesn't it? Of perhaps past even a few Premier League teams.
Also, and again, I'm going to go off on a massive tangent here. You look at the infrastructure, and I don't know how similar yours guys is or not to ours, but you look at our training ground, you look at sort of everything behind the scenes. It's like, that was built to compete with like European football.
Yeah.
But it's just mismanagement last season and the season before, which is why we dropped down. And it's like, it shows though that however well you're doing, unless you're one of the big six clubs, you're a couple of bad decisions from being back in the Championship.
Exactly, yeah, because you built all this fancy new training ground. I mean, Thorpe Arch at Leeds is fantastic facilities as well, by all accounts. But yeah, this one looks new at next level. It's new, wasn't it? A couple of years ago, or last season, was it? And it's state of the art stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So
yeah, but like you said,
because the thing is, we always talk about the stadiums that players are going to go and play in. Their workplace, though, is the training ground, because they will spend 10 times more time at the training grounds than they will at the stadiums. So it's like it is like your sort of.
It's your office, isn't it?
Your office,
if you like, yeah, exactly. So it's got to be good. And this, they always talk about the training ground when they come in. The facilities are great, and this, that, and the other. And the facilities do look at Leicester extremely, extremely good. So, you can't argue with it. It's probably better than a lot of Premier League sides, like I said, and it has that pull of some. Yeah,
sorry to cut you off, George. It's
that's all right, mate.
what's the name of the company that's just brought Man United? But it's what
Oh, yeah.
it's going to annoy
I
me.
can't. I don't know. I can't remember.
They are trying to base their new training ground that they're going to spend billions on of Seagrave, Leicester's training ground, because it's the most advanced in Europe. And it's like when you've got clubs like that coming to copy what you're doing, it's like you've done something right.
Exactly.
Thank you, Graydon.
Ineos, right? Yeah, because that's exactly right. Like you said, it's this fancy training ground, state of the art. Like you said, you're just a couple of bad decisions away from being in the, because that doesn't allow you automatically into the Premier League. You've got to earn that, and obviously, like Leeds, Leicester didn't earn it. They had the bad decisions, the bad mentality of last season, which has seen them drop into it. So it's no surprise to me that Leicester are where they are at the moment. It is a surprise to me where they are in the Championship, but not at the top of it, if you know what I mean. And so it doesn't surprise me that they're right at the very top, on the verge of promotion now that they've dropped into it. Yes, of course, Colin. Yeah, and probably doesn't have the same rivalry and thoughts on Man United as we do. So yeah,
I don't particularly like them, but I doubt I dislike them as much as you guys do.
Yes, of course. There's a little bit of a needle there, I think, between us and United. But yeah, nobody really likes them, do they? Anyway, to be fair.
We've waffled enough, and we still haven't made a decision about this.
Yes, I know. Yes, but I think it's probably Vardy, and I don't think you can, like you said, maybe Daka, but definitely not Bamford. I think it has to be Vardy. Still very potent at this level, and if you're going to go 4-3-3, then I think he's the only man that could. He'll still score goals. He'll scare me if he's on the team sheet on Friday. Again, he will, but it's I just find him such a nuisance to play against. He must be horrible to play against because he's a real nuisance, isn't he? He'll get in your ear and he'll wind you up, won't he? So he must be terrible to play against.
There's certain players that I think about, because I know it's going to be like that cauldron atmosphere on Friday.
Yeah, 100%.
If he plays, he's going to get dogs abuse. Certain players that will rattle. He will thrive off that.
Of course he will. Yeah, he will. I mean, he'll no doubt he'll make a point if he does score as celebrating right in front of the Leeds United fans, which obviously he won't maybe have a choice to, but he'll thrive on it. He'll definitely do it. He won't shy away from it.
It's one of those though, and I always say this. We'll take that combined 11 off the screen now, but if you're going to give it as a fan, you've got to be able to take it from the players, and it's one of those like. You love to see it, your players do giving it, but it's like, and you can't moan when you see someone else's players giving it.
It's just part of the game, isn't it? But Vardy is a top one for that sort of thing. He'll wind you up, he'll wind the opposition up, and he'll wind the. He scored at our place last season, I think, didn't he? It was a draw, wasn't it? A 1-1 draw. I think he scored.
I really thought that we were going to stay up at that point.
I
really thought, but. It's one of those. It's like I wonder if we had stayed up, I reckon we would have been in a very similar situation this year.
Probably.
It's all if buts and maybes, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? You can't look back on it because I'd think we were the same. And if we'd have beat you we were very close to doing it and beating you there.
That was right on the myth, wasn't it?
It was. Oh, yeah. Just how he missed that, I've never known that. Just wide of the post, and you thought, come on, you got to score that. If that goes in, I think, but there was a couple of opportunities at Bamford, missed a penalty against Newcastle at Elland Road, which would have put us in charge of that game. So I think we, again, you can't say if, but I think we would have probably stayed up, we would have beat you that night, but it's all ifs and buts, and we were a mess anyway. The sack Marsh, and took ages to bring Gracia in. He wasn't the right man, and it all was just a mess. So I don't even know. I think he was probably manager at that point, but I can't even remember.
It was Sam's first game, wasn't it?
Was it? It might have been actually. Yeah, maybe.
I've tried to fade the back end of.
I know you just forget about it, and you just forget about it. You know, like I said, like we said, it's so nice to be winning games of football for a change. You know, so that's it. You know, but Jamie Vardy, yeah, he scares me every time.
Yeah, it's that game at Elland Road last year. That's when Tielemans scored that absolute rocket in the first couple of minutes, and it was screened. It was ruled out, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was right.
Later on, and it was like he was offside as well, and it was like and it was like there was so many of those moments in that running where I was like, if that had just gone this way,
I know.
Scored that penalty, but then I think how many moments have Leeds had like that where they probably think exactly the same? And actually saying Southampton were dead and buried. They could have had about 10 of those moments.
They were really poor, weren't they? But again, when we played Southampton at home, and it was like we must win. It was such a nervy game. We ended up winning 1-0. But I think, those games towards the end of the season, any which way could have gone for you. You think a point there, a point there might have just saved us. But, what can you do? It's one of them things.
Before we get any further into the show, because we are going to wrap it up in just a second, please, guys, do go over and subscribe to George's channel. You should be able to just click on the title, go over, give him a subscription. As I say, he's given up a lot of time to come on the show tonight. The least we can do is go and show him support. And also, if this is your first time watching me and you are enjoying the content and enjoying the show, please do subscribe as well. It takes a second and it's massively appreciated. It helps the channel grow, and all of that stuff. But we're going to finish it off with the score prediction, George.
Score prediction, Ant. I think it's a difficult one. Being at Elland Road, mate, I think we're just going to sneak it. And I'm going to say sneak it. I think it might be 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. And I just think, the home atmosphere, the fact that we're on this incredible winning streak, I just think that will bring it home for Leeds. But I'm so kind of scared of your prowess that you've got, particularly in the attacking positions and also at set pieces as well. It's such a scary team at this division, in this level, to come up against. But I'm just going to say I can't come on and back and go against my team. I've got to say I think we're just going to nick it.
Nah, and I would be disappointed if you said anything else.
Yes,
with the run that you've been on.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think it's a game for us. A draw is a much better result than it is for you.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
But if we can go there and win, I'll be absolutely buzzing. It goes without saying.
Yeah, 100%.
As I say, a point's not a bad result by any means.
No. I think you're like you said, it's much better for you than it would be for us. I think you're in a much better position to say, hey, come away from it with a point. We move on to QPR, you said, which obviously at home should be a banker, really. But yeah, let's wait and see. But it's going to be a hot atmosphere anyway, I think.
Yeah, 100% is. I'll go 2-1 Leicester, Ronald. I'll be absolutely buzzing it if it is. And you said to me earlier on in the stream, like, you think we're already promoted.
Yes.
If we do win on Friday night, that'll be the first time I will say I think we've got 1 foot through the door.
Yeah, I think if you win on Friday, definitely you're nearly there, aren't you? 12 points ahead of us and third. I think at that stage, I think you're nearly home and hose with only 12 games to go.
But it's like I said, you always feel a little bit more nervous when it's your own club.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I can sit here and say Leicester up all night long, but I'm sure you won't accept it, But I'd be the same if we were in the same position. I absolutely know I would be. So
2-1, Jorginho, James on Onto. 2-1. Colin going 2-1. But anyway, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much to everyone who has been watching. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Check out George's channel. To say he's given up a lot of time to come on tonight. Any
Pleasure,
words,
pleasure.
George?
Yeah, just a pleasure. Thank you, Ant, for having me on again. You know, it's been great to chat with you about the game. Let's hope it's a good one. Great to see so many people in the comments. Great to see some people, Leeds fans, coming from my channel as well. But yeah, it's great to come on and do these things, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a good chat, that, Ant. Thank you for having me on.
No, absolute pleasure. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.
See you later.